Well, all right. How's everybody doing this fine Friday? It's been 3 or 4 days. Oh no, it's been 2 years since I last did a video on this channel. I kind of let it die. My bad. Well, I decided to come back, not with gaming as much. I'm going to still do that when Black Ops comes out, do some zombies, but I thought I would treat you to the inaugural episode of my own podcast, the Truly Terrible Podcast. Hopefully, some of you are still here. If not, I'm going to promote it on PKA whenever I get a chance, as long as those two don't mind, and hopefully you guys will like it. You seemed to like these when I used to make them. Hopefully you still will. Basically, the format of it, I don't want to do that whole thing where it used to piss the shit out of me when every time someone had a channel and they went offline, so to speak, for like a month, they would come back for one video, and the entire thing was like a grand plan of like, I'm going to start uploading 4 times a day, and I'm starting this series called, Boner Patrol, where I find pictures of hot ladies and put them up next to my gameplay, and I'm going to do that every other Sunday, and then nothing happened, and then 2 months later, they would come back and spend another 15 minutes in a pointless video giving another grand plan that never came to fruition. So I don't want to do that. So I'm keeping it pretty conservative. Every Friday, you guys are going to get one of these. It's going to come with all the bells and whistles that I've seen podcasts do. I'm going to start a Patreon for it. I'm going to start incentivizing you guys to get more involved with it. But I figured we may as well start out with the first advertiser on the Truly Terrible Podcast. So, without further ado, let me get out my copy. All right, Enema Emporium. So, Enema Emporium is a not-for-profit organization that seeks to raise awareness and solutions for bowel and sphincter-related discomfort. I use Enema Emporium brand enemas all the time, and I love their product. My butthole and colon have never felt so fresh. Tired of emergency shits? Worry no more with Enema Emporium. Visit enemaemporium.com and use coupon code CLEANENOUGH2EAT. Now try Enema Emporium's patented flavored enemas, ranging from gushy grape to compacted citrus. Perfect for any special occasion. So, I wanted to start it off with a special sponsor. You know, they're near and dear to my heart. I love their product. Absolutely wonderful. When you have a diet that's similar to mine, which is a lot of fried food and beer, shits are just... Every one is a dire disaster. It's an emergency. It's never okay. I never wake up, like, vegetarians and healthy people, when they get up in the morning, they're like, all right, oh, look at that. It's 8:58. Time for my shit. And they go and they have a really comfortable, lavish shit, like a 2-wiper, and then they're on with their day. They don't need enemas. You need enemas if you eat like a person in the 21st century and not a gazelle. Well, I guess also in the 21st century. They don't really change what they eat very much. But Enema Emporium, try their flavored enemas as well. It's a great product for anyone who wants to combine the fun of carefree bowel movements and not worrying about shitting in public with the fun of being able to stick something up your ass and not be judged for it. So, yeah, check them out. Once again, that is enemaemporium.com, enemaemporium.com, coupon code CLEANENOUGH2EAT. So, thank you to Enema Emporium for being the first sponsor. Can't wait to see where our professional relationship goes from there. So, if you guys want to sponsor, or be a sponsor of the podcast, rather, just send me a quick YouTube message or something like that, and we'll discuss pricing, starting at $1,000 a minute. So, the way this is going to kind of go is, I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want. You know, I was thinking when I was writing down the last few weeks, kind of planning this, the more that I segmented it and made plans for the podcast, I'm like, you know what, this is going to take away from the whole point of what my channel was, which was just kind of shooting the shit for a while and seeing how it went. I'll have like basic little bits and structural things to give it some sort of a feeling, but for the most part, I'm going to do whatever I want. If you do want to write in, and I'll give you advice or questions, things like that, usually it's Twitter, but Twitter, it just is kind of fucking annoying how it doesn't work the right way. It only gives you 140 characters, so you can't actually ask a question. So all the questions you get on Twitter are the same horse shit of, you know, oh, do you like big boobs or big butts? And just silly things like that, which, although a valid question, you can only answer so many times. So send me a private message on YouTube, just put in the title, Truly Terrible Question or Truly Terrible Advice, whichever one you're going for, and then I'll sift through those. When I get the Patreon going, I'm going to give incentives for that have to do with it, but we'll take one step at a time here. I'm also going to get this up on Podbean and iTunes for those of you who prefer that as opposed to YouTube. Yeah, so thought you guys would like to know the sponsor, Enema Emporium. This is also brought to you by Trump 2016. I'm absolutely voting for him, my favorite candidate. Seems really qualified, you know. He has a lot of experience, and not just with berating people on television. Not really, though. I've been joking around on PKA quite a bit about wanting to to vote for Trump, which isn't a joke 100%, because I would vote for him just for the shits and the giggles, because it would be so funny. It would just take something that I already think is a joke, politics, and turn it into like it's a joke right now insofar as it's in practice it's a joke, but everybody treats it so seriously. If he were elected, it would have to be acknowledged for the joke and the game that it is. You know what I mean? So it would be disastrous for our country's image, but also really funny and about like 4 years of great content. So yeah, I think that'd be kind of funny. I don't know. There's nobody else to pick from, really. Like, I really don't like that Sanders guy. I give him a ton of shit, but for the most part, I really don't mind him. Like, I don't like that he's a socialist and he doesn't care for guns, which I really enjoy guns, if you haven't picked that up. But he seems like a nice enough guy. Like, seems like a good dude. The biggest thing about him isn't even the socialist shit. It's the fact that he's 102 years old, I think, and that's a little too old to be president. He could start going senile, like, third day in office and mandate things like, oh, we're not putting women on money anymore. We're going through a series of zoo animals and my favorite comic book characters. We're going to have a $10 bill with fucking Superman on it. Or, not Superman, he's a socialist, so we need to find some sort of like communist man. Well, that's different. I'm going to get shit for that too. I know they're different things. So, anyway, I was thinking about current events to discuss. Pretty much every current event I've been looking at recently, it's all fucking shootings. It's all shootings. And I hate shootings because it goes through that same cycle every time of like, the first 3 days, everybody is super pissed and it's a bunch of passive-aggressive. And granted, I get all this news from Twitter, so I'm very informed. But based on the tweetings of people, the first 3 days is just outrage. It's people on the right saying, I'm guilty of this too, just saying like, I shouldn't have my guns taken away. I ain't never shot no one. I shot a deer once, but we ate it. And then the people on the left are like, oh, you heathens over there with your guns. Aren't you willing to get rid of your hobby just so people don't die? Look at Europe. Look at fucking Sweden. God. I have nothing against Sweden or Swedes, but the way that it's called upon as like this utopia of liberal heaven by every liberal I know, like they just reference Sweden as though the US and Sweden are comparable in any way. Oh yeah, one is literally 100 times the size of the other and not homogenous at all. Why not compare them? Like, I don't know, that irritates me. And then after those 3 days of those ignorant, bitter comments, it goes to mental health. And people really give a shit about mental health and say, well, you need to be more aware. You know, it's not really Steve John McGregor's fault that he killed 60 people with a, quote, assault rifle, which in their minds is a scary-looking gun. It's more that he had mild ADD, and he needed something that would keep his attention. Like, and then from there, it will loop back around over and over through the first points I mentioned until eventually something else happens and we don't care. Like maybe another celebrity will have a sex change, and then that would be a huge, huge success for the NRA, because then they don't have to worry about that shit. Nobody cares about students dying when, you know, some celebrity's getting a dick chopped off, or I guess a dick put on, but that doesn't happen as much, I don't think, based on stats that I haven't read. So, guess not. I'm also going to do something called Truly Terrible Reviews. And it's going to be these are going to be like an hour long or so, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, all depends on what I'm feeling. If I'm done at like 52 minutes or something, I'm not going to sit there twiddling my thumbs and, you know, picking at my beard for the next 8 minutes just hoping to get a rounded out hour. I'll just quit. At the same time, if I'm rolling, I'll go for 2 hours. I don't give a shit. I got nothing to do right now. But the reviews one, I'm going to talk about movies, maybe some as seen on TV stuff, TV shows. Tell me what you'd like to review. But before I even get started with that, I wanted to talk about a couple movies I've seen recently. I saw The Martian, Serpico or Serpico? Serpico was, that was not at all related. So Serpico is that when that lady was the FBI agent or whatever the hell fighting the cartel. That one was okay. Black Mass was alright. The Martian was the shit. The Martian was the shit. You need to go see The Martian if you haven't already. It's awesome. I thought that because it was PG-13, that it was going to be, you know, for lack of a more eloquent way to put it, kind of gay. and would be really annoying and just, I don't know, it seems like ever since the last probably 4 years or so, ever since I was 20 or so, I can't get into PG-13 movies as much. Like, it's not that I'm getting older or more mature or anything. If anything, it's that I'm less mature, and that, like, when I see someone in a dire situation in a PG-13 movie, and they say, like, instead of, oh, fuck, like, freaking out like a person would, and they're like, oh, gosh darn, fiddlesticks, it takes me out of it. Because I'm like, you know what? You wouldn't act like that in that situation. You'd be throwing a shit fit. The Pope would be, mouthing off like a sailor if he was in an actual dangerous situation. He wouldn't be like, oh, gosh darn, it's getting pretty crazy out here. I guess he's Italian, so he would still be like, oh, mamma mia, dear Jesus, please help me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, is he Italian? I don't know. But anyway, so I went to go see The Martian, and this stupid bitch was sitting, like, I went to go see it in one of those theaters where you can press a button and order, like, beers and chicken wings and pizzas and whatever you want, and they bring it right out to you in the middle of the movie. And I'd never been to a place that nice. You sit in a big red leather recliner like a king, and you put this electric button, and it reclines, as recliners tend to do. And you could sit there like a king laying back and with servants coming and delivering goods to you whenever you want. Just hit that button. Sometimes I'll just hit the button just to make them come over and think, changed my mind. I changed my mind. I'm a fickle king. So that was awesome. It was so comfortable and great until, I guess, like 8 minutes into the movie when this stupid bimbo bitch to the left of me, anytime something even vaguely exciting or dangerous happened at all, she had to make a comment. And not even like, well, there is no interesting comment. Keep your comments to yourself in movie theaters. It's annoying as shit, and everybody agrees with me, except for these, like, 2% of people who can't get it through their thick-skulled Neanderthal heads. And this lady, every time someone took a gun out, did anything at all, she'd go, oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Like, it was just obnoxious as shit. Like, at least say shit. At least say, oh, fuck, or, like, get kind of funny and loud, like the black ladies in horror movies, where it's like, oh, don't go in there. Like, that's funny, at least. That at least is like, oh, well, someone's getting into the movie. This was just some fat, older, middle-aged lady saying, oh, crap, every time a character took a gun out, or a, slight gust of wind hit the shelter where Matt Damon was staying on, not the moon, on Mars. God, I'm a fucking idiot. It was just, God, I looked over at her. Do you ever do that? Like, anywhere in public where if someone's making a scene, you'll look over them real quick, size them up, make sure you could take them if something went south. Then you look back forward, and the next time they do it, you try and give them an even longer stare. And then by, like, the third time of doing that, you'll hold a stare way longer than you need to, just hoping that they'll turn and make eye contact with you so you can give them that eyebrow raise of, like, the fuck are you? Who are you? Who are you? You bitch. This is yours. This is your movie. I stumbled into your theater, didn't I? This is your world, and I'm just a player in it, right? I just stumbled in. I must have paid a different amount to get into the theater than you. You must have paid hundreds. You must have paid for the movie rights, all the drinks for everybody else, too, and the ability to say whatever you want whenever you want. A free talk pass at the movies. I'm so sorry. I'll go to my own theater next time, so I don't have to bother you and your reality. You bitch. And, oh, I hate that. I didn't make eye contact with her because she was so enthralled and narcissistic, wrapped up in her own shit, that she was just staring forward. Oh crap, oh look at that gun, oh crap. I don't know why she's suddenly getting to be from Minnesota, because she wasn't. But I made eye contact with her husband or boyfriend. I don't know who the hell it was. The unfortunate man sitting next to her is what I'll refer to him as. I won't say that every time because that's too long. But that poor fucker sitting next to her, I did make eye contact with him at one point, and once I made eye contact with him, I went from the, what the fuck are you doing eyebrow look to kind of like a rein it in eyebrow look. So kind of went from like furrowed up really high, almost like to make my eyebrows do what my shoulders would do if I were doing like the actual movement of like low shoulders than high shoulders. Like, come on, like get this lady under control. Like, control your lady here. Like, and he whispered to her something. The only thing I can think that he whispered to her was, "You aren't making enough comments," because it didn't help. She got worse, and oh God. It was not the worst movie experience I've ever had as far as watching it, but it was enough that it would pull me out of the movie every time. Every time something really exciting was happening, and I even heard her breathe too loudly, I would just think, like, I must hope you talk, you bitch. I'm gonna buzz my little fucking button here, wait for this guy to come back, tell him to stand around, stall him by pretending to order different things, like, I want the wings, no, I'll have the pretzel bites, just until he can hear you say, oh crap, one more time, so he can tell you to shut the fuck up. God, it was annoying. Yeah, other than that, the movie was good. You know, I won't spoil anything. He does get stranded on Mars, so spoiler there. Does he make it off Mars? Does he ever go back? Any love interest on Mars? Who knows? I do. The book was great too. You should read the book. But another thing that took me out of that movie is, this doesn't spoil anything, but they were on. So basically, everybody knows the guy gets left on Mars, and the other space people who are gonna have to go save him are up in their space station deciding like how the best like course of action to get there. And the captain asks the tech lady, who's like the master hacker programmer, which is the most annoying thing in movies because it's just so false and ridiculous. She asked her like, so if we go in at this amount of kilometers per hour and do this and that, the security systems are going to jam. Are you able to turn off the security systems manually? And instead of just saying yes or no, like every movie where a tech question is asked, that stupid tech bastard has to be like, oh, well, you know, I'd have to reroute the mainframe, and then I'd have to hop through a bit of code to see if I could reformulate the kajigger, and I don't know about the number of bytes we're going to have to deal with here. The streaming amount is limited severely by the Mars radio frequencies that are coming off of the our tech hub down there. There's quite a bit of programming I'll have to do a workaround. I think I can hack it, though. Yeah, I could probably do it. And of course, the person who asked it has to do the standard, speak English. Your ridiculous technology talk is too much for my feeble mind. And then they go, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. How about you just say yes? Can you do this, you brainy computer idiot? Yes, I can do that. Nobody wants to hear about the whole process. In no other situation, in any movie or in real life, except for stupid tech questions, do people answer questions like that. There is never a time in real life where someone says, hey, can you make me a sandwich in the kitchen real quick? You're already making one for yourself. Can you just throw one together for me? And you either say yes or no. You don't go, well, I'd have to get out an extra 2 pieces of bread. I suppose we have enough lunch meat to make that work. The cheese, on the other hand, I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. I think we have Colby Jack. Colby Jack is what we think we have. There may be cheddar in there as well. As far as, toasting the bread is concerned, I'm not going to toast mine. If you want yours toasted, I'm going to have to toast yours independently. Lettuce and onion, that's up for grabs. Who knows if we have that in there. You know what, though? I think I can swing it. I think I can do it. No, if everybody answered questions like that, people would just shit their pants in frustration 3 times a day because you can't live life answering questions like that. It's annoying as shit, and I hate it. It's so pandering. Like, maybe in, like, that movie Swordfish in the 90s when they were asking tech questions, like, how are you going to handle this hacking? And they're like, well, I got to go 3 gigabytes deep in the internet earth, and, the atmosphere's down there. Like, they could say whatever they wanted, and people are like, oh, there are numbers on the screen, so it must be true. Like, nowadays, we're familiar enough with technology that we can spot out the horse shit. Like, if you see someone say, or hear someone say, like, I'm going to have to reroute the code. It's like, what is, you think, you just thought of 2 words that you thought sounded fancy. This came from a writer's room. Those people don't know shit. Like, at least bring someone in to make the fantasy tech talk sound a little more realistic. But, I don't know, that really riled me up. That took me out of the movie as well. I need to stop being so irritable in movies. That's what I'm taking away from all this. I'm kind of just a complainer for the most part, but I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way? Like, don't you hate that? Like, doesn't it just really peeve you off when they do pandering shit like that? I hate it. It's incredibly aggravating. Ugh. So I was actually sitting down, like, trying to think of current events and shit to talk about when I was doing this, and I realized I don't know anything about any current events. I talked about the refugee thing recently on PKA, and so many people just ripped on me for that, saying like, oh, you're just heartless. Taylor and Kyle, they just want to see all the Syrians burn. Or I guess nobody said that because that's pretty fucked up, and I wouldn't say that. But apparently I'm just the biggest idiot on the planet when it comes to the refugee situation, so I guess I have to do more research into that. Still don't think it's a good idea to be inviting a ton of people into a country that, I don't know, you know what? Maybe it is a good idea. I don't know. Someone left a comment and they were like, idiot, it wouldn't be good for the United States because our population is a problem. In Germany, actually, it is not a problem. They need hundreds of thousands of unskilled workers all at the same time because the economy. It's like, you're not selling me on that, but I don't know enough to dispute it, so I have to let you go. Kind of let you go till I can find some research on it. But, yeah, the maybe 45 seconds of Googling I did to try and learn about it, I didn't learn anything new. Like, it was just the same shit. It was every news source. There was no one who was even remotely balanced. Not even Fox News, who are supposed to be fair and balanced, says so right on their tagline. But every single one was either hyper conservative, saying like, not only don't let them in, fucking trip them on the way in, trip them as they're trying to get in and give them some false hope and then say, nah, fuck off, go back to your shithole country that's under fire. Or it was hyper liberal, where it was like, you know what, instead of just inviting them in, why don't we give them our homes and then we can go to Syria and try and make it better for them? Why don't we just, if you work at a nice job, why don't you just give your job to the Syrian? He can figure it out. Like, there's no middle ground there, and everyone sounds like an idiot because they take it too far. Because it's like people aren't even trying to find solutions. They're just trying to find the most opposite point of view from their perceived political opponent, Where it's just, oh, I don't even really care what happens to these Syrian refugees, but those conservatives over there really don't want to let them in, so I really want to let them in. I want to make it in their face like a fuck you thing, which is why, like, that was the same thing with all the gun control and shooting stuff. All this shooting nonsense. Like, it's almost as though, like, conservatives use it just to or I guess no, that's a bad thing that happens that causes conservatives to get attacked because of the gun control thing, and liberals use it like, oh yeah, this tragedy, it's never too early to exploit a tragedy about shootings. You know who's really the bad guy in all this? It's that guy who goes shooting as a hobby. He just had to have his handgun that he shoots on occasion as a fun hobby with his wife and kids. Oh, that's the bad guy. Why do you need that, Steve? Huh? Why do you need that? Like, it doesn't make any sense, but just these, I'm so tired of the gun control argument because it's the same thing every time. It's never going to happen. Like, sorry, liberals, there's just too many guns in this country. Like, you hear about Australia. Like, Australia implemented gun control slowly, and they had people turn in their guns. It's like, yeah, well, it wasn't an integral part of Australian culture to have guns. They didn't have more guns in their country than people, and that's a stat that I don't know if it's true, but it sounds pretty good. So I'm going to go with it. 3 times as many guns as people. That has to be true. There's 2 people that live in my apartment, and there's like 7 or 8 guns here. So we're already bringing up that average. Yeah, you can't just tell people here to turn in their guns. It's not going to work. Like, I'm all in favor of the higher restrictions to get a gun. Like, make it a little tougher. Like, don't make it so that they can flat out refuse you if you qualify, and don't make the qualifications out of control ridiculous. But, it should be harder to get a... Actually, I don't even know if I'm believing what I'm saying right now. Like, it's already is much harder than people think to get a gun. The only people who think that you can just walk into a gun store and say, oh, hello, fine sir, I would like 4 AR-15s, please, with extra ammunition. Do you think that guy is just going to be like, all right, can I see your license real quick? Yeah, sure. All right. Cash on the table. Take it and leave. Take it and leave. You're fine. Like, it isn't that easy. Like, It's Always Sunny had an episode about this a while ago. That was really funny because it was like Dee and Dennis or whatever the hell. They were initially of the belief that, like, oh, you can just walk into any corner store here in the U.S. and grab yourself a pistol or a weapon of mass destruction, being an assault rifle. And then they go around and try and buy them, and they find out it's really not that easy to get weapons. Like, they're expensive. The background check they should make that more thorough. But from my understanding, it's like a similar background check to what they run when you're applying for a job, something like that. Like, they're going to know if you were ever admitted to a mental hospital or what sort of, like, I don't even know what other background information the left is proposing to mitigate gun control, but who knows? I'm in favor of that. Like, no problem with it, because I guess I'm kind of biased because I know I'm going to pass whatever checks that they run on me. It's like, oh, did you have schizophrenia? No, I'm mentally healthy for the most part. Sometimes go off a little bit, but I'm okay. Not going to shoot anyone. You probably shouldn't say that when they're asking. You shouldn't say I'm not going to shoot anyone, because that sounds suspicious, even if you're being honest. But yeah, I can understand from every point of view how it's aggravating, like, especially if you're a liberal who just doesn't enjoy guns at all. Then for you, it's a really simple thing where it's like, oh, just get rid of all the guns and just eliminate them. Because, I mean, that's not your hobby anyway, and why should you care about somebody else's hobby? I'm not saying that sarcastically. Like, that's not that person's hobby. Why should they give a fuck? Like, if they think someone else's hobby is really dangerous and they feel that they should speak out against it, go hog wild. Go nuts. There are a bunch of hobbies out there that I think are stupid fucking hobbies that people shouldn't do. Skydiving. What the hell are you thinking jumping out of a plane? Get back in the plane. You shouldn't be out there. That's dangerous. Whitewater rafting. Just take a real boat, you shithead. There's no reason for that either. You could fall off and drown. I saw a video on YouTube of a kid going whitewater rafting through legit whitewater rapids with his parents. If that kid had fallen out and like gotten washed downstream and almost drowned and got pulled out, you think those parents would have gotten in a ton of trouble? No. They wouldn't have lost their kid. That's just as dangerous as taking your kid, to your favorite opium den if you lived in the UK in the 1800s. These are sound examples and valid comparisons I'm making here, people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep shooting my guns responsibly and as a hobby. And if you enjoy guns, you should do it too. If you don't enjoy guns, I encourage you just to give it a shot. Like, don't go out and buy a handgun or something, but maybe go skeet shooting. That's where they shoot the clays up and you shoot it with a shotgun, just so you get a feel for it. And usually people who are really anti-gun and haven't shot them before, they expect it to be like this really, really scary event, and it's not. Definitely not scary at all. Just give it a shot. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't, but at the very least it'll give you a better understanding of it so you're not as afraid. And of course people can say, oh, well, you can just go skydiving or whitewater rafting if you want to get an experience of those hobbies, Taylor. Yeah, no shit, I was joking. I don't actually think... Well, I do. I actually do think that. I don't think people belong flying out of a plane at all. I think that we made the plane. The plane was a genius invention, so we could go in the air without any risk, or with minimal risk. When you jump out of the plane, that whole hub of safety it's gone. Like, it's just you and some nylon fabric that's keeping you from ruining some kid's birthday party as you splat onto the ground. Wouldn't that be awful? An awful way to die? Because I can imagine that if you're like skydiving and it goes wrong, even though you know you're going to die, you're still paying attention to where you're going to land. Like when you're that high up and you're like maybe, I don't know, a quarter of a mile from the ground, even if you know whether you hit water, grass, a mattress depot, anywhere, you're gonna die because it's that high up. Like, your terminal velocity has been reached and you're fucked. So you're gonna die. But wouldn't it be awful if like the last thing you saw was knowing that instead of like hitting the pavement and just it being a mess for like the night crew at Sears to clean up, that you were gonna hit like right on the picnic table at like a 9-year-old's birthday party? Just so you're looking down and you see just the wind's rushing in your face so fast you can't even see it. Just, your hair's whipping. You're partially enjoying it because it's the last sensations you're ever going to feel on this planet. You're also terrified. You're looking around, seeing what you're going to hit. As it becomes clear, it's not a parking lot. It's not a field. It's not a pool that you were hoping for. Maybe I would survive if I hit a pool, but now that thought's out of your mind. You've already seen there's no pool. You are heading straight towards the clown at a birthday party, at a child's birthday party. What is that? Is that a bouncy castle? Is that a clown? What kind of cake? Is that chocolate? Bang! Dead. You're dead. You're dead, and at least a dozen kids, their life is ruined too. Like, you just fucked with them. They were having a great time. They're going to associate like cosmopolitan ice cream and ice cream cake, things like that. They're going to associate that with murder. They can't eat that anymore without having PSD. They can't go to birthday parties anymore. Everywhere they go, they're constantly stealing glances up at the sky. Everybody thinks they're weird because they're always looking up at the sky, dreading that next falling man. So they become socially ostracized. Nobody wants to be their friend. You see, Kimmy over there, she's always glancing up at the sky. What the fuck is wrong with her? And why does she always wear those black clothes and draw those weird images of blood and guts all over her notebook? I saw that the other day. It was fucked up. Look at that. Multiply that by like however many kids were at that party. That's what you did. That's what you did because you just couldn't go to a sports game or go shooting like someone else who wanted some adrenaline. Shame on you. Shame on you. What was I even talking about? I have no fucking idea. Where did that come from? What am I talking about? That would be such an awful way to die, though. Just knowing that you ruined lives right before, not even on purpose. Like, you went out to have fun, not like a terrorist. Like, that's like a terrorist level thing. Like, if they just wanted to straight up terrorize you, and if they could hijack a plane, fill it with all their friends, and then just have them jump out, not even with bombs or anything, but just like carpet bomb with dead bodies, like all of a metropolitan area, it'd be horrifying. It'd be weird, and so many questions would be dredged up, like, tonight at 9, what were they thinking? 58 Taliban bodies found scattered all over Bronco Stadium here in Denver. Steve, you're on the ground. What are you seeing? It's really gross, Todd. Really, really gross. A lot of cloth, and I don't even know what this is. They hit really hard, and it's just a mess. Send you over to Terry, our cleanup expert. It does appear that they were dead on impact. That's what it would be. It would be a news story forever. Anyway, yeah, that's probably not as good of an approach of if you actually want to be a terrorist as having a bomb, but that would still be like a psychological thriller style of terrorism. But, well, anyway, I don't know, then I kind of went off on a little rabbit trail there, but I'm back. So, usually I'm going to have the advice questions and shit like that I can talk about, and I expect to make that at least like a third of the podcast every time, just because I enjoy listening to podcasts where that's a good section of it. It's entertaining and funny, and I also like doing it. I did that all the time in old videos on Twitter, things like that. But in lieu of that for this time, so this one actually will be a little bit of a shorter episode maybe because I don't have the integral part that I was going to do. I wanted to wait and have this be a surprise for you guys as it uploads. I did mention it on PKA, but obviously that uploads tomorrow. So I wanted this to be kind of like a surprise, and then from here on out I can, take the questions via my YouTube inbox, and you can send those to me anytime, day or night. I'm always here. Not always reading, but I'm here. And yeah, if you guys can do that, just sign with your whatever name you want to be called, where you're from, just like a normal letter. And if you can like make them so they're at least kind of believable, like because that used to happen all the time when I used to do these, is there'd be like, every time I asked for questions, there'd be a lot of good ones, but there's always the ones that like I would start reading them, and I'm like, this is going to be so good, this is going to be a good one to answer, and then by the end, it's like, well, fuck, that's so unbelievable, there's not even a point in me answering it. It'll, start off with like, I'm having trouble, and I'm thinking about cheating on my algebra test because I really need this grade, but I'm thinking the only way I can get the answers is to have a threesome with my principal and the math teacher. Who knows how this is going to turn out? They're both dime pieces, and they're both 18 years old. I don't know how they snuck through the cracks on that one, LOL. And so it takes you out of the moment. Maybe if you do send those, I'll just make it up on my own. But in lieu of those, I feel like I've said in lieu like 4 times in the last 10 minutes, but in lieu, that's 5, of me doing those questions today, I'm instead just going to do a little bit of throwback stuff from one thing that's a throwback, way a throwback, like 3 years ago when I was doing it on my channel, and the other thing, a newer thing that I started recently over on PKA, the other podcast. So first, I'm going to start off with the old throwback one. Who knows if you guys even liked this? Well, I know that you liked it back then because it was like my most viewed video series other than Storytime. It's going to be Would You Rather. Hooray! So the way I used to do this, if you guys are new or you didn't do it, is I just go on, it used to be yourather.com, and now it's either.io. Who the fuck knows why that is, but so I'm on that, and I ask the question, the would you rather question, and then I give an answer, and they actually have advanced analytic statistics for what other people answered, and usually there's like at least a couple hundred that did, so you get a good feel for it. It's not like, oh, Jill and Steve voted for this one, but Stacy and Kenny voted for that one, all tied up. So anyway, would you rather date someone who always looked 12, or date someone who always looks 80? So, this is concerning, because it depends on the 12-year-old, to be honest. It doesn't depend on the 8-year-old, because when you're 80, you're fucking 80. There's no 80-year-old where you're like, oh my god. You mean to tell me that Gretchen is 80 years old? I would have said 32. Like, no, it's never a big thing like that. They're always fucking old looking. Like, even if they're great looking 80-year-olds, they still look fucking old. Like, sorry, it's not their fault. It's because they're old. It's because they've weathered a lot of years. So that's out of the question. I'm not dating someone who's 80 unless they have got just a sinful amount of money and they let me spend and buy whatever I want. In which case, make that 80 180, and I don't care. I'll have a dead wife that I have to move around Weekend at Bernie's style for the next decade or however long my contract is. I don't care. Make it that. But assuming that these are both just normal ladies who don't have a ton of money, I'd have to date the one who always looked 12, because that's an easier explanation, when you think about it. Initially, they're going to be really creeped out, but then I can show them, like, oh, we get this all the time. She's got prostasis or something, and she never looks older. She is very mature. She's not mature for her age, because she is her age. She's not 12. She just looks 12. Honey, show him your license. And then they'd show the license, and it'd be like, oh, little Susie Q. She's actually, 30 or whatever the age is. And that would be a lot easier to explain, and people would accept you much sooner than, or I guess you'd be able to accept it much sooner than the 80-year-old. You know what I mean? Because the 80-year-old is, nobody's just going to ask questions about it. They're just going to be grossed out and confused and be like, why do you bring your grandma everywhere? It's like, oh, this is my lover. This is Gretchen. Even more so, think about the implications of the life that these two people would be leading. Because it says date someone who always looks 12 and always looks 80. Let's say that they are my age, mid-20s, and they always look 12, for the sake of this example. I think it's better to always look 12 and live your life through, like, I don't know. These are both pretty shit, but that's the point. So, if you're 25 years old and you look 12, and then you're 35 years old and you look 12, and you're 45 years old and you look 12, I feel like that's going to be an easier life than if you are a 25-year-old and you look 80, and then you're a 35-year-old and you look 80, and then you're a 45-year-old and you look 80. Because then that's way worse, because that person's life is going to fucking blow. Nobody's going to like them ever. At least there's like a small section of pedophiles that would like the 12-year-old, right? Like, something. Kidding. But yeah, the only downside in either of these, or actually there's a lot of downsides, but the worst downside is that you have to either be banging a 12-year-old or an 80-year-old, and those are both disgusting. I'm going to say 12, though, because I'm betting that it's about a 60-40 split, with 60 on the 12 and 40 on the 80. Damn, no, I really was off there. 92% would rather date someone who always looks 12, and then 8% date someone who always looks 80. Even though they're both so terrible, who the fuck would ever want to date someone who looked like they were 80 years old their whole life? Like, they'd just be uncomfortable. Awful, awful choices. Next one. God, that's terrible. That's stupid. Some of these are so goddamn dumb that I just will skip next to the next one, because it's just shit. That's shit. Ooh, would you rather be in the Fallout universe or be in the Skyrim universe? So I have played Fallout, not a tenth as much as I've played Skyrim, but they're both, if you lived in the Fallout universe, at least, no, not even at least, that would be way worse. It'd be way worse to live in the Fallout universe. It's total post-apocalyptic. even though they have more technology and shit, and you got the cool little pit boy or whatever, pet boy, I don't know. Maybe I really haven't played very much. It would just be shit. Skyrim, however, as long as they could make more blacksmiths in Skyrim, and once you killed one, they weren't gone forever, which is what I did the first time I played through that fucking game. I went through to every single city in Skyrim. I was a noob, so I didn't play Oblivion before that. I'd only played Skyrim, and I didn't know that like all those characters, the ones, not the NPCs that like always come back and just kind of go on the ground and regroup, like you hit them in the head with an axe and they kind of just double over and go, whoo, good strike. Just give me a few more seconds and I'll be back up. Oh, you've done it now, son. Like the ones where if you kill them, like the merchants and the blacksmith, they're actually dead and you can't buy shit from them anymore. I killed every goddamn blacksmith in all of Skyrim, to the point that when I finally was leveled up all the way and I wanted to get good armor, it was just taken forever to go and mine iron ore out of the hills and then go get all the supplies to make infinity iron daggers to level up my blacksmithing. So I just ended up starting a new game, because I was a foolish idiot who went around and stabbed all of the blacksmiths in the beginning of the game just to steal like a tiny amount of bullshit resources that I didn't even need. But yeah, well, I guess in that universe, it'd be way easier to become king in the Skyrim universe, because everybody's kind of ignorant to everything, and hell, I guess I don't get to go in that universe as a super powerful, like, Khajiit, or whatever the hell I was, or Argonian lizard man. I have to go in as me, as Taylor. I just walk in, and if that's the case, it wouldn't be fun at all, because everyone in that world is jacked and the elements are cold. Yeah, I'm going to say Skyrim, though, because Fallout, I feel like I'd get shot instantly. 73% Skyrim, 27% Fallout. Once again, I'm correct. And 27% of people were objectively wrong. Good God. Would you rather your partner have a homosexual affair or your partner have a heterosexual affair? This is a good one, and it's also bad in a couple different ways. Like, when you think about it, it's like having the homosexual affair, it would be like, okay, well, at least it was with another chick, or if you're a chick, at least it was with another dude. So you can at least take solace in the fact, like, well, they were peddling what I wasn't selling, so they just wanted something else, and they went and got it from somebody else. They weren't feeling what the shop I had set up was purveying that day. And so you could kind of take solace in that. It would also make you feel like a real dick if it was like, oh, so you just switched? You're done now? Like you're going to the other side? You're just trading in your hetero badge for the new trendy one? I see how it is. Just because they have more colors on it doesn't mean you have to quit. But yeah, that would be the better one for me. I can't picture one where the partner having a heterosexual affair would be better, because that would just make you feel like, oh, all right, well, that guy's on the same team as me. You just decided to go up to the first line instead of the second line. So really, you're just a bitch, or you're a dick, or whatever the situation may be. Absolutely. If someone has an argument for why they would want their partner to have a homosexual or heterosexual affair instead of homosexual, then outline that for me. Unless you're gay. If you're gay, then this whole situation gets flipped on its head. Pretty crazy. But assuming that everyone is straight for the sake of this example, yeah, definitely having the homosexual affair would be way better for everyone's ego. Really? So 62% of people are objectively correct and agreed with me that they'd rather their partner go out and have a homo affair than a hetero one. But that's weird. What is am I missing something really fucking obvious here? Because it doesn't make any sense as to why you'd want your partner to go out and get fucked by someone else of your sex, you know? That's just, I don't know. I don't get it. All right. Would you rather be known as a racist or known as a sexist? Lucky for me, I'm a white man, so I'm both by default no matter what, according to liberals. So hooray, already winning that fight. I don't know, like they're both, it's so easy to be branded either of those things nowadays for anything, no matter what. Like, if you say, who was it? My friend's girlfriend or girl that he was dating in college. Not anymore. It was like one of those, not even dating, just like a quick fling thing. We were all hanging out one night, and I must have said something like, "Oh, that black guy over there, blank something," or like, I was talking to that guy and the other guy and their black friend over there. Or I don't even remember the context, but I said black, referring to a person, and she said, like, not super serious, but saying like, "Ugh, that's so racist," like rolling her eyes, that like, I know more than you, I'm more socially in tune. It's like, I didn't even say anything. Like, that's the level of silliness we've gotten to with racism. Even if she wasn't 100% serious, other people hear that, and they hear from that, well, I don't even want to be vaguely put in a situation where I could be perceived to be even a little racist, so I'll just bend over backwards and say ridiculous terminology for everyone in every group all the time, just in case. They're not black. All black people are African American, but I'm from Haiti. Oh, no, don't let your actual ethnicity conflict with my preconceived notions as to not be offensive to the liberals. Oh no, that's not what we're looking for. And sexist, like, just by it's all the same shit. You don't have to do anything of bigotry or shittiness to anyone to be called sexist or racist if you're a white man now. It doesn't matter. It's just you're assumed to be one by default. So, I don't know. I'll try and guess this one based on who I think would win. I think most people would rather be a sexist than a racist. Probably. Because there's yeah, I'm going to think that's true. Yep, I was right. Yep, 67% of people would rather be known as a sexist, and only 33% would rather be a racist. And those 33% are probably all the dudes who are like, oh, well, I'd rather be racist because I don't want miladies to think that I am offending their sensitive egos. Oh, women are so fragile, they can't handle a man's word. Blah, blah, blah. So it's condescending in its own way. Yeah, you see, exactly. That's what these PC people will do. There's no winning. Someone's always offended. Someone has to lose, and it can't be them. And it's condescending too. When you take offense on behalf of other people, like, you look like such a cock when you do that. When, like, if someone tweets something offensive and they say, something that is perceived to be sexist or bad about women, or they say the N-word or something like that, and everybody jumps to their defense, and it's all white middle schoolers from Tumblr. And it's like, why are you treating these people who are actually being insulted, if they are at all? Why are you treating them like they can't handle their own shit? Why do you think that what are you trying to do? You're trying to build up your own brownie points, so if they ever catch you in your own web of lies, you can be like, oh, that's not true. I actually participated in the hashtag That's Racist campaigns of 2011, 2012, and 2014. I think you'll go through my Twitter history and find that I'm quite not bigoted. Everything I say is boring, and I have no opinions of my own that haven't been vetted from my peers. But trust me, I'm on the up and up. Like that. What the fuck? Just let people defend themselves if they can. Like, especially from something like a Twitter comment, they can handle themselves. Stop being so condescending and parental. Would you rather punch every trick or treater that knocks on your door in the face, or answer the door for trick-or-treaters completely naked? This one involves, I just have to see which one I spend less time in jail, honestly. Like, I can't, if I punch all of them, like, I go in for assault for multiple kids, but that's, actually, no. I'll go to jail much longer for showing my dick to young children, because, think about it, if a kid comes up to my door, and I pop him right in the face really hard, while distracting him with a king-size Snickers that's just out of reach, he's gonna run away, and immediately he's gonna tell his parents, or they're gonna see blood pouring from his nose, and they're gonna see their shit just went down up there, and we got to call the police. Obviously, this man is beating up children under the auspice of giving them candy. So I get like 2, maybe 3 kids deep of punching, depending on how big the first party was and how quick I was with my fists, and then it would be over. So I get 3 assaults under my belt. With the naked thing, kids are going to be walking up all fucking night. A lot of them are going to be little enough that it's going to be startling to see an adult man standing there naked. And so they'll just walk back with their candy. So they'll feel like it was kind of a win of like, all right, I got candy. Why was that guy's dick out? Like, what's up with this? What the fuck? Like, and they're probably going to be a little bit too shocked to say something immediately to their parents. Like, they're not just going to run back and be like, it's a cock, it's a cock. And, call the police because they're kids and they got their candy. So I'm going to have to let a lot more kids see me naked than kids I would punch. And so, well, but then again, they're not going to judge me based on how many kids saw me naked. They're going to judge me on the fact that kids did see me. There's no winning here, but I'd rather go to prison as someone who, had a slight mental problem and punched a kid than go to prison as a child, diddler, because those guys, they don't tend to do well in prison. They don't make a lot of friends, is what I've heard. So, oh, really? 53% of people said they'd answer the door for trick-or-treaters completely naked. What the fuck? Like, this is the first one where I was correct and the majority was incorrect. I'm correct every time, but yeah, everybody's been correct with me, but at least this was close, 47 to 53. But you shouldn't be answering the door for trick-or-treaters completely naked compared to the punching one. Like I said, you get one punch. You can, if it's only one punch and the kid's pretty quick and they can run back to their parents, you can play that off that you, had the bowl so full to the brim, so full for the kids of candy that you dropped it and you fell with your fist forward and attempted to stabilize yourself on the bridge of that 6-year-old girl's nose, and you just failed. There's no excuse for answering the door naked, unless you're crazy or a pedophile. Alright, so I just kind of did that because you guys used to love those things when I did it 3 years ago, and just like I fucking remembered with this shit, 1 in every 4 is okay, and all the rest is just stupid horse shit. Just stupid, just immature. Well, none of it's mature. I'm not going to be up here on my pedestal being like, I'm looking for a mature, cultured, would you rather question, because that's pretty douchey. But now I'm going to wrap it up with a couple of the am I an assholes. And this, I think it was Kyle who told me about this, where people are writing in, and if you haven't seen us do this on PK, I'll catch you up real quick. So basically, people write in on this forum, and they describe something that they did, and then the forum as a whole has to judge them and say, you know what, you weren't an asshole. 2 thumbs up, or you were kind of an asshole, or you're a complete asshole, burn in hell forever. And my theory with this is that almost everyone who does post these things, they all know that something they did was a little asshole-ish, because if you truly believe that something you did wasn't asshole-ish at all, you wouldn't be looking for validation on some random-ass forum on the internet. You would just be confident in yourself to say, no, that wasn't douchey. I didn't do anything wrong, even if you did do something wrong. So the fact that they're trying to get some validation for it shows they're either attention whores or they secretly know they're kind of a fucking asshole. All right. So, am I the asshole for fat shaming or just a self-preservationist? So this guy says, some time ago, I'm in an elevator which contains 2 other people I don't know. I was the last one to get on. Then this really obese dude gets on. Then this light comes on that says capacity warning. The door, Jesus Christ, capacity warning? You're on there with 2 people, and the 3rd guy gets on. No, 2 other people. So this is the 4th guy. Those elevators hold 2,000 pounds. So assuming that you and the other people are... No, those elevators hold 1,200 pounds. If you and the other people are both 200 pounds generously, that's 600 pounds. That means that guy's got to be pushing 600 by himself. And assuming that the other 3 of you were actually normal weight, that guy was probably 700 pounds. How is this dude walking, much less making it into whatever? Okay. The doors stay open for a suspiciously long amount of time. The fat guy ignores it, and the 2 guys who got in first look worried, but aren't going anywhere. I start to get out and say, it's no problem, I can get the next one. The fat guy says, don't worry about it, just push the button again and the doors will close. Clearly, it's happened to him before. I tell him, I'm sorry, I don't want to ride an elevator that is warning me that it is about to break, and slide out. And when I said sorry, it was not sincere. Rather, it was more of a tone of, sorry, pal. Or sorry. The way people say it when they aren't even considering being sorry. So obviously, he caused a problem and should have gotten out, but he didn't. I'm willing to believe he's ridden that elevator before with the light on, but I'm willing to gamble on the idea that it'll be fine this time. I know he's an asshole for causing the problem and expecting us to deal with it, but am I also the asshole for fat shaming him by making the problem a bigger deal than it had to be? No, dude. No. Not at all. Not at all. You are not an asshole in the slightest for that. That dude, that big fatty, got on an elevator, saw a light turn on that, since it's happened to him before, he knows that light comes on when the elevator, a steel box being held up by cables, is starting to say, you know what, this is pretty heavy, guys. Like, this is pretty heavy. I've never seen that light come on, and I've been on elevators with like 7 people, and that light has never come on. How big was this guy? Was he like, that's unfathomably big to turn the light on an elevator from stepping on. Did you feel the cables like sag? Like you heard a creaking? I don't know why the other 2 guys didn't get off. Is it worth dying just to make some fatty not feel bad about himself for a bit? If this has happened to him before, then he should know. Like, there are so many wake-up calls on the road to get fit, and not even just fit, just not dangerously fat to where you could die at any moment. Like, one wake-up call could be, you get winded when going up one flight of stairs. Next wake-up call could be, my love handles are, sagging down like saddlebags. Next wake-up call could be, I can't see my dick when I pee. Next 10 wake-up signs from there is, when I get on an elevator, the fucking light comes on. That's unreal. You could put cattle in there and move them around, and that light wouldn't come on. This guy, he's clearly got a food addiction, so that sucks, and that's rough. But either way, dude, you can't be letting your own addiction, like, directly cause, like, death to someone near you. What if it had broken? You'd all be dead in there. Even if he wouldn't be dead, he would bounce right back up. He'd be okay. His cushion would push into the other 3 of you, and you'd be mixed around like a blender. Like, he'd just spin around, that centripetal force of fat from the fall. I don't know physics, but yeah, you're not douchey at all, dude. That guy was a real asshole. It's good that you were a little dickish to him. Not even because he's fat, but because he was endangering you, like, and being inconsiderate. Where it's like, when he got on, he should have seen that light come on and then been like, oh, you know what? I'm really overweight, if you can't tell, and I've seen that light come on before. So I'm going to go ahead and step back off, and then you guys ride up, and then I'll come back down, and then I'll get on by myself. No risk of overburdening this piece of modern machinery that can hold well over a ton. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, so there was no excuse. That guy was a real asshole, and you shouldn't feel bad. Not at all. Good for you, actually, standing up. That's like, I was outside at a pub, and someone was holding a newborn baby, and the person holding the newborn baby was blowing smoke from their cigarette directly into its mouth, then holding its nose shut. And I went over and I said, "Hey, buddy, you quit that." And he said, "It happens all the time. Just wait and it'll stop." Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing that. That's not a very good example as a equivalency, but here we are. Doesn't fucking matter. I'll do one more of these. Let me find a good one. So, Jesus Christ, some of these people write like gigantic tomes of their exploits and the trick and the story they're doing, and it just takes fucking forever. Like, just be quick about it. God, you're an asshole for taking too much people's time when they're just trying to read these real quick. Am I an asshole for tailgating this guy? This starts off with me going down the highway, minding my own business behind a logging truck, doing my thing, rocking out, cruise. Already, you're coming off like an asshole. Rocking out. You're 16 years old, you just get your license, and you're playing the music way too loud on your shitty treble-based stereo as you're banging your hands on the wheel, acting way cool, like trying to speed around people, showing the probably 6 out of 10 girl in the passenger seat that you're way cooler than the guy on the football team because you've got a nice little car. Rocking out, cruising. I already don't like this guy. When some guy in a BMW thinking he's better than everyone else shoots past us going 65 and a 45 or something like that. He looked like he was laughing with his friend or something like that when he passed me. I've seen my fair share of speeders in the few years I've been on the road, myself included. I decided I should get a little petty with this guy since he thinks he's better than everyone. See, you, like 3 times now, you're trying to convince yourself
that you're not being an asshole. He was going 65 and a 45 or something like that. He was laughing with his friends as he passed or something like that. Was he? If he was going that fast, you got a good chance to study his facial expressions as he was driving by, you idiot. He just flew right by you, so fast that it startled you, but you still had time to cogently look over, study the lines around his eyes. Ah, that's a genuine laugh. You can tell because it's not just creasing at the corners of the mouth, also the sides of the eyes. Like, no, you prick. You didn't notice any of that. You're just trying to convince yourself in retrospect because you know you were being a bit of a cunt. Yeah, 65 and 45 or something like that, laughing with his friend, which... Why would he's not laughing with why would he laugh with his friend at you? If they were laughing, they were probably laughing at you rocking out to fucking Nickelback, banging on their cheap steering wheel with the ugly chick in the passenger seat. Saying there was a chick at all in there is probably giving you too much credit. This guy, I don't like this guy. So you thought you'd be petty, so you'd give him a taste of his own medicine. Ooh, what's gonna happen? Are you gonna drive by him quickly, laughing, while thinking you're better than him? Which clearly you do, because you're about to give him a taste of his own medicine, which clearly you can allocate better than anyone. I started creeping up on him, just riding about 2 feet from his bumper, so when he thinks it would be a great idea to brake check me. Now, luckily, my car has amazing brakes compared to his early 2000s SUV, so I was all right. What? Early 2000s SUV? I thought he was driving a BMW. I don't even know what a BMW SUV from the early 2000s looks like, so I don't know. Whatever. Also, I wasn't trying to lose my 4-month-old car. Oh my god, I thought he was going to say my 4-month-old child, and that would have made him the biggest asshole ever. I wasn't trying to lose my 4-month-old car, but it's been on my mind all day, and I must ask, am I the asshole? Yes. Yes, you are the asshole. You road raged and made a scene about something that wasn't that important because you think that you're the grand arbiter of who should be going what speed when. Like, if you're that in need of punishing people for things they've done that aren't even that wrong, just become a cop. Like, not a big deal. Just, God, you are an asshole. So, one no asshole, one asshole. Yeah, anyway, so that's about an hour, maybe a little more, maybe a little, I should check. Yeah, a little more than an hour. All right. So I hope you guys liked the first episode. Like I said, send me in questions, things like that, through my YouTube PM, and I'll read those next time I'm on here. Also, be on the lookout. I'm going to be putting this up as soon as I can figure that shit out on iTunes and Podbean, as well as starting up the Patreon page. And give me, if you have ideas for that, just send me a PM on YouTube. Like, if you think, $5 a month, or, if we reach a grand a month or whatever the hell the number will be, do an extra episode every week. And see, I'd be down for something like that because I like doing this shit. It's fun to sit here and talk by myself and be a complete narcissist and not have to worry about anyone interrupting me because what I have to say is most important. So, anyway, that is about it. But it's been fun, and talk to you later.